Cinderella. Once upon a time there was a little girl called Cinderella who lived with her stepmother and her two stepsisters. Cinderella was very pretty and her stepsisters were ugly and nasty. Poor Cinderella was made to do all the washing, cooking and cleaning around the house. One day, an invitation arrived from the palace for a grand ball, and the ugly stepsisters were very excited. Cinderella asked her stepsisters if she could go. "You cannot go! Look at your old clothes!" they laughed. Poor Cinderella ran away in tears. On the night of the ball, after her ugly stepsisters had gone, Cinderella sat beside the fire, feeling very sad. Suddenly, a fairy appeared beside her. "I am your fairy godmother, and you shall go to the ball," she said. Cinderella was so happy. The fairy godmother asked Cinderella to bring her a big pumpkin, 2 small mice and a lizard. Then, with one wave of her magic wand, the fairy godmother changed the pumpkin into a silver carriage, the mice into white horses, and the lizard into a driver. "Now we must find you something to wear," said the fairy godmother, and she waved her wand again. Cinderella was now wearing the most beautiful dress she had ever seen. "Now, off you go to the ball, and remember that when the clock strikes midnight, the magic will disappear," said the fairy godmother. "I'll remember," promised Cinderella. Cinderella looked so beautiful. When she arrived at the ball, the prince saw her, and from that moment, he could not take his eyes off her. He asked her to dance, and they danced all night long. Everyone wanted to know who she was, and even her 2 ugly stepsisters did not know. Suddenly, the clock struck midnight. Cinderella remembered the fairy godmother's words. "I have to go," Cinderella said to the prince, and turned and left as quickly as she could. As she ran down the stairs, she lost one of her glass shoes. Her beautiful dress had changed back into her old clothes, and the carriage was a pumpkin once more. Cinderella ran home quickly. "Where did she go?" asked the prince. Many other ladies wanted to dance with him, but he refused. He wanted Cinderella. The next day, her 2 ugly stepsisters were very angry because the prince had not danced with them. They shouted at Cinderella and ordered her to do her work. The prince had found Cinderella's glass shoe on the stairs. He had fallen in love with her. He decided that the very next day he would find her using the shoe. The prince went from house to house, asking every lady to try the glass shoe on. Each one tried to squeeze her foot in, but the shoe was just too small. At last, the prince came to Cinderella's house. Her 2 ugly stepsisters grabbed the glass shoe and tried it on. Their feet were too big. Just then, Cinderella came in from the kitchen and asked, Please, can I try the shoe on? You? Laughed the ugly stepsisters. You were not at the ball, so go back to the kitchen where you belong. Let her try, said the prince. Cinderella smiled and she sat down beside him. The shoe fitted perfectly. The prince was so happy. He asked Cinderella to marry him, and she said she would. The two ugly stepsisters could not believe it. Soon the prince and his beautiful princess were married. They lived happily ever after.